Yeah.
Got to connect and then we'll be right.
Yeah, that's okay, mate.
Thanks. Cheers. Yep, that should be good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning. An east coast low is forecast to develop off the southeast Queensland coast into Friday. Though this system is expected to remain offshore and primarily cause peripheral wave and wind impacts to coastal areas. Dangerous surf conditions are expected to cause localised damage and coastal erosion about the southeast Queensland beaches over the next few days, with wave heights expected to peak on either Friday or Saturday. Damaging wind gusts in excess of 90 kilometres per hour may occur about the southeast Queensland coast on Friday and early Saturday, and as a result we've got a severe weather warning that's out for locally damaging winds, dangerous surf over the next few days. Rain areas are likely to develop across central, southern and southeast Queensland over the next couple of days, with locally heavy falls becoming possible in parts. At this stage, a flood watch is not expected to be issued for this event. This will be regularly reviewed over the next day or two. There may be some local rises with some locally heavy falls, but largely we're not expecting any significant flash flooding or riverine flooding across the state at this stage. This system is also expected to bring similar conditions to parts of northern New South Wales and also parts of Lord Howe Island and Norfolk Island over the next few days as well, as the system starts to move offshore. I'll now pass over to the Minister to talk further about other aspects.
Well, good morning everyone, and I know there's been a lot of interest from the public in the weather forecast for the next few days and into the weekend. So it is very important for people to listen to the messages from the Bureau and to get their information from the Bureau about those possible weather impacts. And there are to be some weather impacts over the next few days and into the weekend as a result of this unseasonal east coast low. Thankfully, as we've heard from the Bureau, there's not expected to be, intense heavy rain across the region, but there are some impacts associated with waves and dangerous surf, coastal erosion and strong winds. So the message for Queenslanders is, of course, listen to the Bureau, get your information from the Bureau about possible weather impacts. There are predictions that there will be in some areas dangerous surf. So maybe if you are thinking about going to the beach over the next few days, to reconsider what you might be doing over the next few days. If you are thinking about being out on the water in those impacted areas, maybe think that there's an alternate instead of being out on the water over the next few days. If you live in a coastal area that might be impacted, be aware that there might be a significant risk of coastal erosion in some places. So make the preparations and be informed. But there will also be some rain across southeast Queensland. So the message for everyone who might be out and about is drive to the conditions. The roads may be wet, they may be slippery, and you need to make sure you're making responsible choices on the road. This is a weather event that the Bureau are keeping a close eye on. All of our emergency services and police are engaged with the necessary preparations that are required for a weather event of this nature. But please keep informed, make appropriate responsible decisions depending on the weather impact in your local area, and please, prioritise your safety and the safety of others.
Good morning. Queensland Fire and Emergency Services has been monitoring this weather system over recent days and working closely with the Bureau of Meteorology in relation to our planning for this event. What I can say is that Queensland Fire and Emergency Services stands ready. Our State Emergency Service and our Queensland Fire and Rescue Service is ready to assist communities that may be impacted by this event. As the Minister said, we're predominantly going to see the impacts of this event from Gari, Fraser Island, down the coast south to the border and into northern New South Wales. And whilst the effects of this will be predominantly coastal, there is the possibility that we'll see elevated wind speeds inland. so potentially gusts of up to 90 kilometres per hour. So today is the day for residents of South East Queensland to prepare for this upcoming weather event. We suggest that you secure any loose items around your yard and think about large trees around your property, because we've seen significant rainfall in South East Queensland over recent months. The soil is wet, and with strong winds there's a possibility that trees could come down. So think about where you park your car, think about loose items in your backyard, and get yourself ready for the weather conditions we might see over this weekend. And if you do require the assistance of the emergency services, if it's a life-threatening emergency, please dial 000. If you need the assistance of the State Emergency Service, please call 132 500 or use the SES app. Thank you.
Any questions of anyone?
So what I'm gathering about this is that it's not so much the rain that's going to be an issue, but it's the wind. Could you give us an idea of what this might be similar to? Are we looking at something like a weak low, or what, for comparison?
Yeah. So I guess in terms of the biggest hazard of risk during this course of this event will probably be the wave impacts that we'll see along the southeast Queensland coast. We're expecting wave heights to exceed 4 metres along large parts of the southeast Queensland coast, starting from early Friday and continuing into the course of Saturday. So some low-lying areas along the beachfront, we may see coastal erosion. Any places such as like the locations around the Currumbin car park that tends to get inundated in these events. Parts of Bribie Island, that particularly through that breakthrough that has occurred in recent events, may be impacted, plus other new locations may be impacted by wave impacts that lead to coastal erosion. From anywhere south of Fraser-Gowrie Island down to the Queensland border and also into parts of northern New South Wales as well. In terms of winds, we're expecting some gusts to get up to around 90 kilometres per hour. They'll be very localised and very much confined to the coastline south of about Gowrie, Fraser Island, down to the Queensland, New South Wales border. In terms of the rainfall, yeah, as mentioned, we're not expecting any heavy rainfall. It'll be very localised during the course of this event, and we don't have a flood watch that's in force. Of course, this is unseasonable rainfall. For example, Brisbane experiences, during the course of July, experiences average rainfall of around 27 millimetres, but in this event, many locations may receive between about 25 to 50 millimetres, and on a local scale, we may see some locations get up to 50 to 100 millimetres. So July is usually one of the dry months for many locations, and because this is an unseasonal rain event, it just means that some locations may experience their monthly rainfall within the course of just the next couple of days.
How far inland are you expecting these wind gusts, these strong wind gusts?
So with the damaging wind gusts, they're going to be very localised to the coastline. So we do have a severe weather warning that currently covers Gowrie, Fraser Island, down to the Sunshine Coast, including much of the coastline around Moreton Island, Stradbroke Island and parts of the Gold Coast as well. So very much localised to the coastline. Of course, other locations just a bit further inland will see an increase we've had very light winds of late and very nice conditions, but we are seeing a shift in that, and we will see some gustier winds inland, but there will be no wind warning in force issued by the Bureau for inland locations.
So if there's any events planned for this weekend or markets and things like that, do you think people should just stay across the warnings or consider cancelling? The best advice is just stay across the warnings that are going to be issued by the Bureau. At this stage, we're expecting the peak in all the wave conditions to be on the course of Friday and Saturday, with this system moving offshore during the course of Saturday and taking all the weather and the more hazardous conditions with it. So yeah, stay up to date with the warnings that are issued by the Bureau, but at this stage we're expecting conditions to peak around Friday, Saturday, before we see an ease in conditions and what could be a fairly fine end of the weekend on Sunday. What's causing this?
So the weather system that's causing this is an east coast low that's developing off the southeast Queensland coast. So it's only very much in its infancy at the moment, but it will start to develop off the southeast Queensland coast into the course of Friday, but before moving further offshore towards Lord Howe Island and Norfolk Island over the course of the weekend.
So why are we seeing this unseasonable weather at this time of year? It is rare to have this sort of rain in July.
Yeah, that's correct. I guess the reason we are getting this unseasonable weather is due to this east coast low, and these systems don't usually occur around southeast Queensland. They maybe happen once every 5 years or so, with them generally happening further south along the New South Wales coastline. So that's the main system that's bringing this unseasonable rainfall. But of course, climatologically, we are moving into what's called a negative Indian Ocean dipole, which does drive a lot of above average wintertime rainfall across Queensland.
This, in combination with very warm sea surface temperatures around Queensland, is driving what we're going to see as essentially above normal rainfall during the course of the next couple of days, but also it's going to be something that lingers throughout winter and into the parts of spring as well.
So we'll likely see more rain events going forward.
Yeah, that's correct. So our climate outlooks all indicate that we're going to see a better chance than we're going to see above median rainfall across much of Queensland over the next few months. And that's due to a combination of that negative Indian Ocean dipole that was just discussed, which does drive above normal wintertime rainfall. But we're also on a La Nina watch. Our recent La Nina just ended, but we are on La Nina watch for the potential re-emergence of this. And that will, of course, drive above normal winter and springtime rainfall, and also will impact our summertime rainfall as well once we get there.
Commissioner, when we see these east coast lows down south, it usually takes out some coastal properties. Are you expecting any properties to be impacted?
We'll work closely with the Bureau. We'll monitor this weather pattern as it goes through, and all of our crews, State Emergency Service and Fire and Rescue crews, will respond and support communities as we need to, working very closely with local government and working through our local disaster management committees who are well prepared. They understand the risks in their local area, and we're well resourced to respond to whatever events may occur over the weekend.
I think Bribie was mentioned in parts of the Gold Coast. Are they sort of your areas of focus that you'd have people on standby?
Well, for us, it's pretty much anywhere from Fraser Island, Gari, south to the New South Wales border. But we're ready right across Queensland. We're seeing significant rainfall around Charleville this morning, for example. I think they've had something like 25 millimetres of rain. So our crews are ready right across Queensland for whatever events may occur in local areas.
Are you expecting a bit of damage around marinas and things like that?
Potentially, with this sort of wave activity and potential for coastal erosion, we could see damage along the coast. So we'll work with local government and the local disaster management committees to respond to whatever events occur.
I know there's some like low-lying areas around Shorncliffe and things like that. Would you suggest people sort of take a good estimate of how close they are to the seaside?
I think so. The message for anyone living right along the coast side, they'd be well used to this type of weather. But of course, our coastal areas are very popular for everyone, for walkers and people exercising. And so you might want to think this Saturday morning whether you go and undertake those activities. Please check the Bureau of Meteorology's website before you go out to undertake those activities this weekend.
And will you be providing updates throughout the weekend?
Yes, look, the Bureau of Meteorology will provide regular weather updates and depending on what's in those forecasts, we will provide advice accordingly.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot.